Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. Things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and medications are hard to pronounce, so please bear with me. Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
Is it okay for me to be mad? My family is talking about epilepsy the other day, and my aunt suddenly said, it's all because of those phones. And I got so mad for her I got so mad at her for blaming all the suffering I went through on my phone. Is it valid reason to get mad, or is it actually a factual fact? It's been 6 days. How many people are still finding out?
So were they suggesting that being on the phone is causing seizures?
I think that's what she was saying. I don't know if she was saying cause the epilepsy or the seizures. No, she said they were talking about my epilepsy. And my aunt said it's the phones.
I think there might have been one or two people that had seizures before phones were invented. Maybe just one or two. Maybe I'm wrong, but
doesn't mean that phones don't or can't cause seizures, though.
A lot of different
yeah,
frequencies could be a
certain
trigger.
people, maybe like the electronic stuff does actually
Do you
do
mean
something, but
looking at the phones, or because
yeah, that
It
was
sounded
very
like in the
vague,
post,
right?
it's a family member just saying it's the phone's causing it. So I would assume using the phone just as you would any touchscreen, but for endless hours, seemingly a day. That's the impression I got.
I mean,
because
sure,
calling would never.
Yeah, some
if
crazy
they're using their phone and it's
generalization,
like a strobe.
that doesn't
Well,
necessarily mean that there's no some kernel of actual truth behind it. The uh, so the blogosphere kind of went crazy about dopamine addiction and the interaction with phones being an unhealthy constant stream of reinforcing dopamine, and dopamine being one of the excitatory monoamine neurotransmitters. It's something that excites and impacts the brain, increases electrical activity. It doesn't seem entirely impossible that that doesn't have some sort of impact and might actually lead to some people having seizures if they've already been in a state where they've had a lowered seizure threshold and they're sitting and constantly playing, stupid little games and scrolling internet, um, social media feed and Discord chat in the background the whole time. I mean, that's a lot of, visual and, textual information stimulus going in there.
And that's true. And I mean, if you're watching, I don't know, like some sort of like video or like the stereotypical thing is like like anime where it's like super flashy bright lights and like that might cause a seizure or something, like maybe that's it. But I think for somebody
for the
to
rare
just
photosensitive epileptics,
like
the
that
flashing,
that type of one. But
something like
for somebody to have
3%.
like one or two seizures and then a family member to instantly be like, oh, it's the phone, like without a doctor appointment, without any real reaction,
Probably
that
the kind of family member
that's kind of
who's
like that's
interested
just a
with
little
the game and
overboard.
says, "Oh, it's the video games."
They thought
Um,
they thought
but
mine was from computers, because I had it in my web design class, and
the
then
refresh rate of the computer screens like flashing? Did they think
Yeah,
it was a photosensitive thing?
that's what they're thinking because I had that seizure and then I went to the emergency room. And as you know, you have that class again a few days later. I had that class again and I had a seizure in that class again. So they thought it was because of the computers and they never even looked any further into it. They were like, basically, you
Your
have,
neurologist didn't flash you?
huh?
Your neurologist didn't flash you?
No, they didn't do that test until I was 30.
That'd be a hell of a new
All the
patient appointment.
hookups and EEGs. Not entirely convinced that
What type of flashing?
clears a person from having photosensitive epilepsy necessarily. Because I mean, I don't know what the process is, what you had, but in mine they lay down with the eyes closed and then, you know, 30 seconds or so of one speed, like slow, and then medium and fast and really fast and super fast. Um, but that sort of um, like uniform, the entire field of view getting stimulated at the same time is very different from the sort of environments that you find yourself in, like driving, or even riding along in the car and just the sunlight coming through between the trees. That's not a steady, rhythmic, it's a kind of, well, I mean, it is sort of steady, but it's not, or sort of rhythmic, but it's not a constant rhythm. So um, I don't know, it's different from something where it's a pulsing at a very constant computer generated set rate. And only at those, I wonder if they did something or like they sent a sine wave sweep where it goes instead of just the one where it flashes faster and faster and faster continuously all the way up. Um, and um, get a whole sampling of the entire frequency spectrum in that regard, rather than just a handful. Um, because it seems kind of like the that one 30-minute EEG that I had back in 2004 where they said, no, you don't have epilepsy. And then come 30 years later, what, 20 years? 20 years later, 20. Yeah, that's the right number. 20 years later and finds that, well, that really just means I wasn't seizing right there and then. And epilepsy is way more interesting than that brief little adventure. Um, so these
That's real.
little segments of the frequency spectrum at different speeds kind of feels like maybe they missed the frequency that does trigger it in me, or maybe it didn't do it long enough. I don't know.
uh,
End of monologue.
I was just gonna say that's kind of similar to me, Mark. I've had a few EEGs. It's been I can't remember now how long, at least like 7 or 8 years since the last one, but I've had a few done since I first, started having it. And each time they would do the sensors and the flashing lights and everything. And they're like, okay, well, like your brain activity went up a little bit, but nothing out of the normal, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have literally had seizures sitting in your ER, like 100 yards away. Like I clearly have epilepsy. Like just because it's not triggered by a flashing light a couple of times doesn't mean I don't have it or that I'm trying to bullshit you. Like why? Like why is that the one? I mean, I guess there's not really other ways you can specifically test other kinds of epilepsy as specific, right? But it's just like once they see, they're just like, oh well, a couple of blinking lights didn't mess with you. You must be fine. Okay, see you later. Like
It's
it's like what it
also
felt.
limited to just how much those electrodes on the scalp are able to detect. They're only getting just the surface activity. So my neurologist said, the fact that
Exactly.
it's right frontotemporal just means that's where they were detecting it. It could have started further in and, you know, but yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
Nikki?
after one of them, I felt super like weird. Like I know I didn't like have a seizure or anything, but like I just felt like kind of like okay, I think I need to sit down for a couple of minutes now before, before I walk back downstairs and get to my, get to the who's driving me back home. Like it
I
still felt
think
really, really
Nikki's
weird.
sorry to interrupt. I think Nikki's been waiting
Yeah,
very patiently for a
that's what I was
while
gonna say
now.
too.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm done. I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
no
ahead.
Yeah,
problem. This is a really interesting conversation, but what you guys were saying about the lights, I really feel that way that the photic stimulation that they do is not, a lot of people say that the lights don't bother them and that it doesn't trigger a seizure, or sometimes they say, "Oh, I had a seizure during the stimulation," and then they said it wasn't a seizure. But yeah, it's the same for me with the lights. Like I uh it did bother me. It made me feel like dizzy, but it didn't bother me as much as the sunlight coming through the trees when I'm riding in the car. Like that is a big trigger for me, and also the like a broken fluorescent light or something like that, or like certain movies. Like I went with my family. The last movie I saw was Incredibles 2, which was a long time ago. And when I left the theater, I was just like sick. So I think they
Hang
should
on,
change the lights somehow.
were you the one who made the post about the Incredibles 2 poster?
No.
We had someone who said who like commented or posted that they saw an Incredibles 2 poster recently
Wow.
and that it triggered a seizure. And so we were kind of discussing that a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
I
they have
wonder if memories can trigger.
Oh yeah.
Thinking about something back then can bring
I
it up.
for me it was more I was surprised that they had seen an Incredibles 2 poster like
Yeah, where?
anytime. Exactly. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like, where did you see this?
But yeah, definitely memories can trigger seizures, especially temporal
Yeah, my
lobe
girlfriend's actually
seizures.
watching Incredibles 2 right now. I'm sorry to
I
interrupt
can't
again. My
watch it. Oh man, I can't. I'm so sensitive. Like I was playing a video game with my kids today, and I normally don't, but I tried because they always say, "Mom, why don't you play with us?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'll play." And I played one game like for a few minutes, and I just couldn't even get it together. I said, "Well, that's it. Okay, I can't play." But yeah, you can't go to the movie theater and playing video games. It's just out. Eye doctor
Well,
too.
I'm really curious when you say that the memories can trigger it. Are like what kind of memories are you talking about? Is it memories of previous seizures or of trigger type events, or just can it just happen out of the blue, like reminiscing about that one Christmas dinner from 3 years ago that was, whatever.
For
Yeah,
me, that does happen that way
it
where
does.
it'll be like I'm reminiscing. Yeah, there were when you said that, I was like, "Yep." that happens to me all the time.
So do you
Yeah.
have like it's like you get an aura or you have a tonic clonic?
It feels like an aura when it happens.
Yeah. For me, it's like if I try to remember, like if someone says, "Remember we used to do this and that," and I'm like, "No, I don't remember." And they're like, "No, remember you were doing this and I was doing that." And I'm like, "No, I don't remember." And if I try to remember, then that's when I have an aura.
Mm. Wow.
Um,
Yeah, usually it's like it'll be when I'm reminiscing and I'm really trying to focus on like a specific detail or something.
mm,
So yeah, it's totally like just trying to remember that moment in that you is in like it's there and your brain can find it. It's just trying to find it. That's the problem.
yeah. Then I try to, but do you ever wonder if it's like if you're trying to remember something that's real?
Um,
Hmm.
well, that varies for everybody, I guess, because it, like we all have memory problems. So some of us may experience, times where we're not really sure about a memory, you know. But I think some people have it definitely worse. For me personally, I tend to feel like I remember stuff fine. I will just occasionally forget details, but then I have like situations with coworkers where they're like, "No, we never talked about this," and I'm like, "No, despite my ridiculously shit memory, I remember having this conversation with you to a fucking T. But do not try and gaslight me and say that I did not have this conversation with you because, like, you can do that for some conversations, not this one."
That's what I wonder if a lot of people have the short-term memory problem. So if our short-term memory is bad and our long-term memory is better, then how do we like how do you form memories? Like how does it get into the long-term memory?
Does it get into the long-term memory, or is
Right.
there like a point where there was long-term and it was being recorded, and then the seizure stopped the ability to record? I haven't been able to figure that out. I've been wondering the same thing.
I guess the short answer is this thing called a process of consolidation, where it's involving cellular and this is verbatim AI, involving cellular and molecular changes in the brain. So that's about as deep as they go. They do mention the hippocampus that plays a crucial role. So that's something I always try to keep in mind when they narrowed down that some of my foci were in the hippocampus because certain parts of the brain play a different role in short term versus long term. And the consolidation process happens between those two. So it's a lot. I feel like I felt like I had a lot more clarity once they did the in-depth EEG subdural because they were able to just tell me how many more foci I had than any other EEG ever revealed, and exactly why the lobectomies and resections and ablations and all those weren't an option because that would be vital parts of the brain.
Wow, so how many did you have? How many foci?
I know the number was above 50, and that was from
What?
the I think three tonic-clonics that were recorded, but it was a few other focals. It was a 5-day stay. So there was plenty. Stopped taking the meds 2 days before and
But that
gave
was
them
for
all the
the
data they
focus.
need.
They were looking for like the seizure focus.
Right. They were
Yeah.
looking for the whatever that word is for like where it starts.
Yeah, to
And
localize. So
right.
how
And that's
many
why
areas did you have that where the seizure was coming from?
I
Like,
know they mentioned temporal, frontal, hippocampus. Um, I know there's other parts of the brain that I'm not thinking of right now,
oh,
but
wow.
they explained that it was definitely bilateral. So that's what
Yeah.
where they came up with the game plan, if you will, of where to insert the electrodes and what types to use and, what settings to start with on the RNS.
Wow.
That part felt like a lot more clarity though, because that was the first time the surgeon explained, no neurologist. I've never seen an epileptologist before. And the surgeon was the one who actually explained to me that as long as you have seizures and continue having seizures, whether it be tonic-clonics or focals, that more pathways will emerge, more foci essentially. So
That's what I
I'm
keep
surprised that
hearing.
epilepsy
Yeah.
is not viewed as a progressive disease more, it doesn't seem like that's such a commonplace belief, but
Uh-huh.
I've never heard anything else.
Yeah, somebody that the doctor, I think it was my general practitioner, had said that epilepsy is not considered degenerative, and then the epileptologist that I'm seeing explained basically that she's, can't call it degenerative, but every seizure you have makes it easier for more seizures to happen. This,
Any blanket term of a disease is risky because there is that 1 in a million who, it's whatever that childhood one is called, that they essentially outgrow or the seizures are quickly managed and won't lead to any degenerative circumstance.
Yeah.
But,
Just-
9 out of 10.
What I wonder is some people can go with focals for so long without having a tonic-clonic. And why is that?
What's your definition of so long? Because mine's are around 3 months apart.
Oh, no. I mean like years. Like as a child, I had tonic-clonics. I had three or four tonic-clonics. And I'm in my 40s now. I've never had a tonic-clonic again. They got those under control. And I've talked to other people who have said the same thing. Like they're like, oh yeah, or even on Reddit, I've read experiences of people who said, oh, I had epilepsy as a child, and then one day as an adult, I had like a big seizure. Like, what happens?
I didn't have
20
a,
years, and 20 years it's been fast. I mean, it was slow. It's been a whirlwind though. Got the seizures down to trying to be less than 5, but trying to be no more than 3. But so far, I had 3 this year, so I'm trying to get through the rest of the year without any more. So far, this is success for me. I'm comfortable with this many because it's not as many as I used to have a year. I've gotten better.
We've kind of mentioned this before too, where people will have long stints of not having seizures, and they're like, oh, my epilepsy went away, and then they have a
Yeah.
seizure. And so that's where we've talked about it and sort of said it as like your epilepsy doesn't go away. Once you have it, you have it. You can only manage it at that point. There are going to be breakthroughs. You just have to understand that it can happen and it's not your fault, unless obviously it is your fault because you were doing all of your triggers or whatever, but we're assuming that this person was not.
yeah, um, I went more than 8 months between focal seizures before I had even been diagnosed with epilepsy, and I was not on any anti-epileptic drugs or even any medications that have a side effect that would cause any sort of suppression, sedation, anything that would help to. So, yeah, I don't know. I think in Florida here, you have to go 6 months between seizures in order to get your driver's license back. So I went more than that without any medications, so yeah, I don't think I can ever trust myself with a driver's license if I
Mm.
even if my seizures get under control with the medication now. There's just no way to tell.
Yeah,
It
you
is
can
kind of
definitely
disheartening. Go
develop
ahead, Vicky.
a false sense of security. Like I have not been medicated for a year now, and I started thinking like maybe I can't get my doctors to give me medication. That's a different story, but maybe it won't get that bad because I've gone this long without having one of the big seizures, even though I have the focals every day. What are the chances of it getting bad, or could it just stay the same in that one area?
You're not on pills anymore either?
No, I'm not. I see my doctors are kind of treating my childhood epilepsy as something separate. Looks like Pookie's nodding off.
No, I'm not. I
Yeah.
just look like this.
Okay.
I'm here. I am wide awake.
Okay.
It's just his
You'll,
face.
you'll
Yeah,
notice when someone's nodding off. It happens sometimes. You'll notice.
That's why my camera is off because I have so many focals. I can't even seeing my face in the camera is like a trigger. But yeah, I can't remember what I was saying, but anyway, I'm not on medication. That's the story.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta get used to like the certain type of type of lifestyle that goes along with it. Honestly, literally, the only thing that I have driven since 2010 is the Autopia ride at Disneyland. I have not touched a car steering wheel in 15 years. I'm just used to riding bike everywhere, doing all of that. Like you just
It's
kind of get used to it,
just
right? Like it's just another thing in life that you have to deal with, and yeah, it fucking
Somebody
sucks,
echoing.
especially when it's like pouring down buckets outside, and all I want to do is go to the corner store and grab a taco on
yeah.
on Taco Tuesday or something, right? Like,
Oh, there's DoorDash now.
but like, yeah, but then that's more money, and
Yeah.
then obviously none of us are in the best working positions because of that. So then it's like it's just like it's like a constant like catch-22 of just like frustration sometimes. So, but yeah, I definitely, yeah, I feel what you're saying, how like it can be, yeah, frustrating how it's just so many. One thing can be one thing, another thing can be another, and they just don't like combine.
You just don't know. And I wonder, like, am I in a dangerous situation not being medicated, but I can't get my doctors to really listen to me about it? So I'm just
Is
kind of
your whole
stuck
team
right
on the
now.
same page, or have you gotten a second opinion from an actual epileptologist?
Yes, I have seen an epileptologist, and that's the thing is that my EEGs are all normal, but I don't have convulsions. I only have the focal, like mostly it's like sensory type of stuff, but also I lose my ability to speak clearly. It's like it's called dysarthria. So I start like stuttering or I can't get my words out. Like it literally feels like I cannot talk. And so they told me that the last EMU, when my EEG was normal, that I had PNES. And yeah, that again. That again, yeah. And so I went 8 months with, no help, nothing. They were just like, go to psychology. And then I started getting worse. Like I started noticing my symptoms were getting worse. And so I called and I was like, well, what happened to my doctor? Where's my epileptologist? And I wound up getting an appointment with her, like a video appointment. And she was like, this is not, I don't really know what's going on. I can't tell you exactly, but I can tell you it's not seizures. And I was like, well, how do you know? She's like, no, it's not seizures. So that's kind of where I am now is they want me to get a psychological evaluation, occupational therapy for my speech, physical therapy, because when I have my episodes, I have trouble walking. So yeah,
And
it
Nikki,
sounded,
can you get any evidence? I mean, on video or even a recording? Has this ever happened while you're leaving a voicemail? Something, some kind of
Hmm.
concrete evidence,
Oh
so
yeah,
these doctors can't just look at
when
this EEG.
she talked to me, because I mean, when I say they are frequent, like I cannot get through a day without having dozens of seizures. And I just got approved for disability, thankfully, because I'm not able to do anything. But when I was talking to her, I was having one because that's pretty much what happens the first part of the day. And so she could hear it, she could hear it in my speech and everything. And yeah, I don't know. But she did say I could get a second opinion. And so I'm going to see a what is it? The
Neurosurgeons,
neurologist that does psychology, or no,
neuroscience.
movement disorder, functional.
What'd you do for work before this?
Well, I mean, I still tutor. I just tutor maybe like 2 or 3 hours a week. I've never really been able to work full time. Is
You'll
Pookie okay?
you'll actually be Pokey's doing good.
Okay.
Um, you'll actually be a good person for us to ask about the disability, because that comes up a lot.
Um,
Where a lot of our members have been trying to get on disability, and have been unable to, and they have questions about sort of the ins and outs of getting it. So, it's good to have people who have gotten it, who can provide some insight.
Yeah, I brought the up the other day, and then I was talking today earlier about leaving my 1 hour a day now, thanks to educational budget cuts, my 1 hour a day job now. So yeah, I would definitely love to know more. I'm sure it's different from state to state. I'm in California. I'm not sure
no,
where
it's really
you
a
are,
federal
Nikki,
program.
but yeah.
It's a federal programs. I mean, the only thing that's different from state to state is probably how swamped your particular office SSA office might be where you are. But two things, just quickly. The Social Security Administration has a book of impairments. And what I found out is that if you can fit any of those impairments, then it's an automatic approval. Or they will at least look at your case seriously and do a medical review. But my lawyer did not go for epilepsy because I would not get it because of epilepsy. I got it because of the effects of seizures, which are cognitive. So that's how I was able to get it, because of like concentration, memory, the ability to like follow instructions. These are all the things that you need at a job. And also, the ability to speak. And if you can't speak, then you have to be able to use your, body in some way, like physical labor. And I can't do that either because I have balance issues.
Well,
So,
yeah, and I was gonna say
yeah.
that's another thing too, is you know, us with epilepsy, it I mean that cuts off like half of like today's jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like working at a warehouse, being an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, FedEx, whatever company you want to call. We obviously can't, be drivers for that place. We also can't drive, commute 40 miles each way to work if we can't drive. I mean, yeah, physically, if you wanted to get up at like 3 a.m. to start your 8 a.m. shift, sure, you could ride 40 miles there. But you know what I mean? So, like, we're
Mhm.
already limited on all of that. Then we're limited on so many other things. And then there's still just like, oh no, sorry, that's not a disability enough for you. You need to go work your 1 2 hour a day job. You
Yeah,
need to make
you
your
can't you
you need
can't
you need to
survive
make your
on it.
$10 a day. You need to
That's funny.
make less than a Subway sandwich costs every day. So
Yeah.
I
And
have gotten job offers
anyone,
for like in central Pennsylvania, and I live in just northeast Philadelphia, but like 60 miles away, and like not
wow.
even people with cars can get there. That's like a Oh my
Yeah,
God,
that's
it's
already, yeah, that's a
ridiculous.
hassle if you have a car. And then if you're
Yeah,
driving 60 miles with gas prices now, dude, like your first hour of your shift is just covering getting your ass there, right?
like, do
Money
you want
money
to be a
wise, I mean.
cashier in Coatesville, Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Nobody does. Who the hell wants to live there? Oh my God. No offense to
And that's
Coatesville if you're
another reason
watching
in
this.
the, well, in the process, that's another reason it's important never to even tackle it yourself, because once you get tangled up in the system, that's how they get shit against you, saying, you refuse this, this, and this, rather than the lawyer knowing how to tackle it, getting the medical records, get the right medical professionals to sign off on something saying that was never possible. So that's, yeah, the lawyer made a big difference, kind of like what Nikki was saying. I would have never thought that anything besides actually having seizures would have played a major difference, but the only reason I even got the medical evaluation was because they cited all the other things that I wasn't doing right at work, obviously post-ictal. And that
But
was not being able to remember like 4 digits of a credit card number when they give it to me, like those kind
Yep.
of tasks.
you need to be very careful about accepting it like any sort of income or financial input when you're on Social Security disability income. Um, I have a cousin who is nonverbal autistic, ASD level 3, as it would be called now. And he's been on, Social Security uh, his whole life because it's just, you know, he had no problem qualifying. It was just blatantly obvious to the system. But like we can't give him anything for like his birthday. We can't send him a birthday check or anything. He can't accept that because that counts towards income, towards his Social Security, and um,
So you
any
just do
sort of
cash.
income could disqualify. Huh?
So you just
Cash
do
only.
cash only.
Cash on, well, yeah, and even that you got to be very careful if anybody finds out. But I don't know. I think I've heard some people recommend setting up um an LLC in a person's name and have um I forget there was a whole system or shenanigan set up that would allow the income to go into an LLC and then the individual to be paid out of the LLC rather than um accepting the income themselves, um, to keep that income below the threshold. Uh, I
My
don't know.
lawyer told me that I can make up to $1,500 a month, which I'm not in any danger of doing, like what James was saying. His 1 day a week job, mine is like 3 hours a week. So I'm not gonna make $1,500 doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
because
big problem when I started on Medicare that I have. They told me I wasn't allowed to make a certain amount of money every year. So Medicare or Medicaid, I always forget what I have. But I've been on that a long time, and I'm not allowed to make X amount of money. And clearly, that's a huge problem. I could take up a part-time job, and I would have no problem making. I mean, it would. I don't know, but
Yeah,
it,
Medicaid is definitely the income-based one. Same reason with
yeah,
food
okay,
stamps, but I mean like that little
yeah.
6 months that you get of unemployment, for example, when I lost the last job and ended up hiring the lawyer, they took that right off the top of
Mm.
of the
Yeah,
Social
I
Security,
don't get
when the disability got approved. They took that little bit of unemployment right back. And that's
I
not
get
even
no
making like
cash,
70%.
no cash, but they've been cutting food stamps like every time they get. But I don't know how much money I can make a year. But yeah, I mean that's the point.
Yeah, I'm in your yeah, very similar situation there, Kevin. A few years ago when my seizures got really, really bad and I couldn't keep my full-time mechanic job anymore. Um, that's when I started, working at the school just for a few hours here, here and there. And clearly there was a big difference in paychecks. So my instead of having to have co-pays, I got kicked down to, like what you said, either Medicaid or Medicare, whichever one. I was making so little that I now have no zero co-pays. So instead of me, laying at home in bed in pain for a day because of my pancreas or something, I'm just like, I don't got to pay anything. I'm going to the hospital now. I'm actually going to take care of myself. I'm going to do this. But also at the same time, not only am I using the system more, but it also, like you were saying, it makes it so that you don't want to go out and get like
Right.
a part-time
It doesn't.
job.
It gives you
Like I've
no
told you
incentive.
exactly. Like I've told you guys, and I've shown you some of the things around here. I do a lot of, sewing and cross stitching. Like I could start an Etsy store and, maybe make an extra few bucks here and there just to, have each month. But if
Yeah.
it's through that, then it's online, then it's official, then people are knowing I'm making money, and then I'm gonna have to get kicked back up to having to have a copay, and
Right. Hmm.
I'm gonna be losing money. So why would I do that, right? Like
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm a bum, but at the same time, it's like this is what the system is making us do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
It's a
Like
trap. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said earlier, a catch 22. It's just a big circle of I
Uh-huh.
want to do something, but screw you. But I want to do something, but screw you. But yeah,
Yeah.
Says seizure or dream. I'm new here. My son was just diagnosed with epilepsy. He's 15 years old. He had his first on October 17th at about 2:30 a.m. He thinks he had a seizure. He said he woke up from a nightmare at 2 a.m. and called a friend to talk. Instead to talk, he was startled. He said he then damaged, he dreamed he had a seizure. As the day progressed, he said he thinks he really did have a seizure and it wasn't a dream. He explained he explained how he remembers being awake and feeling his eyes jerk, arm shake bit, and then next thing he wakes up at 6 a.m. thinking it was a dream. Does this sound like a seizure or a dream?
I would say dream on that one because they didn't mention any symptoms after to feel post-ictal, like bites or something like that.
It says help my child with acceptance of diagnosis. My 9-year-old daughter is an epileptic here. She's not the best with expressing her feelings about it, but I think she's embarrassed by her seizures, uncontrolled with meds, and maybe in denial about them. It's not something she really wants to talk about. I want her to know that her epilepsy doesn't define her and that she should never feel like she needs to hide it or be ashamed of something that she can't control. With this being Epilepsy Awareness Month, I want to help spread the awareness, but in a way that it helps her self-image and doesn't embarrass her or upset her. Any ideas? If I was diagnosed as a child, is this even a good idea?
I did. I was diagnosed when I was 4, but what did she want to do for her daughter?
She doesn't know.
Oh, she's trying to figure out what I can only speak from my experience, but I was a child a long time ago, but I think everybody really just I want to just to be a regular person and not have everything be about my illness. So if she can just like have something planned that they can do together or even with a group of friends where she's not worried about her seizures. Like I couldn't get on amusement park rides. I grew up in New York City and I couldn't, like, I had to take the school bus, which nobody takes the school bus in New York City unless you're in special education. And I just hated standing out. So I think that's, if you could somehow do something like that where she just feels like a regular person for one day.
And definitely never hesitate for second opinions because they do have a lot more in-depth methods of research and diagnosis for juveniles.
Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
and for a young person, just listen. You know, I know it's scary, but you know, it. Uh, I remember being that young, and I can at least remember being that young. I was diagnosed at 12, not 6 or 4, but it, it's all relative. I mean, just listen to your kid, and it's gonna be rocky going through, you know, developing and trying to come to terms with this. Just I don't know, when they have a problem, be an open ear, be a shoulder to cry on, or whatever. Just I don't know, be there for them. And well, if they seem scared, just try to listen. I don't know, ask questions. And if I don't know, even if it seems like you're going too far, just say, just 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 ask, say what's wrong. I don't know, try to be helpful.
Oh, I have a question. I know some of you have children. Have you ever suspected any of your children having signs of epilepsy?
Mine's I got from brain trauma. It's not necessarily genetic. Yeah.
My
got-
cause was never officially diagnosed, but I assumed it was lifestyle choices. So we are keeping a close eye though.
Yeah. I found out my dad had epilepsy, and
Oh, you're not the only one. Yay, me too.
did he tell you? This was what's funny is my dad is 81 years old, so I was like, Dad, you used to have seizures, and he said, I did.
Oh, so for me, it was a little bit different. My dad left when I was 2.
Me
So
too.
I
Yeah.
so I did. Oh, you damn. We okay. A little bit too many similarities here.
Please.
Um, it left when I was 2. I finally pressured my mom, and I knew his family. Like that they weren't a fan of him either because he was a bit of a douchebag. Um, so they never really gave me any info, but I finally pressured my mom to like give me his contact info after so I was 26. So 24 years later. Um and we were talking, and found out he had epilepsy, blah blah blah. And then like six no, it wasn't even 6 months later. It was like 3 or 4 months later, I had my first seizure. Um, and so I contacted him and like, what the fuck? I just had a seizure. And he was like, yeah, that kind of runs with like that. I that may have been from me. And I was like, may have. I think it was. But um, yeah. So he's only 18 years older than me. And I met him when I was 26. I've had epilepsy for 3 years. So,
Wow. Yeah, I got back. I got in. Well, my mom always had my dad's contact, but he was living crazy. He's a Vietnam veteran, so he's kind of got some trauma. But
thank
I
God
got
for the
back in
moms.
contact with him when I was 30.
thank God for the moms who like they know at some point you might want
Mm-hmm.
to, and so
Yeah.
they keep tabs, because that was exactly what my mom did. She kept tabs but didn't reach out because she was like, okay, well, he's changed his name, so when Brandon finally asks, I can at least tell him, okay, reach out to this person, not the person you thought his name was.
And it's so good that you found him and found out he had epilepsy. That's why we need to know our family history because probably your seizures are hereditary.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
I didn't mean
genetics
to
can
take
really
that in
only
a
tell you
totally
so
different
much.
direction.
It's useful.
Speaking of genetics, I got one. It says epileptic, and I found out I'm pregnant. So I've had epilepsy since I was 13. My doctor said if I ever wanted to have kids, I would need to think about planning them. So today I found out that I'm approximately 5 weeks pregnant. And yes, it wasn't planned. Anyone else fell pregnant unexpectedly and everything was okay? I want reassurance and to know what people did in my situation so I can have some idea. Guys, we can't really say anything on that because
I think I heard Kate's story before, and she said she had a lot of seizures while she was pregnant. For me, I didn't really because I didn't, that was during that period that I wasn't really having seizures, and even pregnancy and labor didn't bring them on, which is amazing. But yeah.
was it still crossing your mind that it could happen though?
Yes, it was scary. I thought about it, but because I thought that it kind of was in my past, I thought that I might be okay. But yeah, when I got later on in pregnancy, it gets scary. That's when I thought about it, that it could happen. And who knows, maybe I was having some things that I didn't recognize as seizures, but it wasn't anything significant.
Did you manage to complete the pregnancies and like breastfeeding period without medication?
Yeah, without medication. Actually, okay, so maybe this was seizures now that I think about it. When I was pregnant with my second son, I got extremely depressed. And I was seeing a therapist, and the therapist convinced me to take antidepressants because she said it's more dangerous for you to be depressed than for you to like expose your child to these medications. So I took a antidepressant for a little bit, like I think until the end of the pregnancy. And who knows, maybe that was seizures because after a few months, I just felt like I didn't need it. I felt like it was slowing my brain down. But no, I wasn't on any medications all the way from age 14 until like 5 years ago. I wasn't on any
That's
medication.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is
That's why
such
I
a
wonder, like,
blessing
what
for your
happened?
children and everything.
Yeah, I raised my children. Well, I mean, they're still being raised, but they
Never really
it
stop, right?
yeah, right. It was when my youngest son was a baby, that's when I started having those focal seizures. So that's been 15 years.
How far in between your pregnancies were they?
Almost 3 years. So they were
Oh,
kind of close, yeah.
yeah, no. See, my
Yep. So I
pregnancies
had
were
a
pretty far
baby and a
apart.
toddler at home, sleep deprived. Now, I did, when my first son was born, I had a few weird things, but I don't know. We're still trying to figure out what that is. My epileptologist thinks it might be narcolepsy because I have hallucinations as I'm waking up. But I had that when they were babies because I was sleep deprived.
Hey, Ann, you still down there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just
Okay, did you
thinking,
get a chance to hear that last question?
yeah, I did. Kind of. I was just thinking about the antidepressants and the seizures. That's what brought mine on in 2007 was amitriptyline. And apparently, yeah, looking back, I had a lot of seizures, and the more I have as the years go by, it's like, oh, I think that was a seizure at that baseball game. You know what I mean? and I start recognizing them more. But they're not kidding when they say that, they do create pathways. And Nicole, Nikki, I hate to be the one to say this, but it doesn't go away. And I know that you're right. And I know they're going to tell you that it's psychogenic until you have that tonic clonic and they have to treat you. But if you do have a tonic clonic, make sure and insist on an EEG within 48 hours because there's this thing my doctors call ghost waves, and they can see part of that seizure. The pathway is kind of like still there in your brain, and they can pick it up. But that's what happened to me. It was like they were giving me everything, anti-anxiety drugs, antidepressants, and that's what did it was, yeah, the amitriptyline. But
When you
during
guys
my
were prescribed anti-anxiety, oh, go ahead.
yeah, but during my pregnancies, I wasn't diagnosed, but I knew that I was still having seizures, but no medication.
This person, she's more asking what should she expect. She said, yeah, she's worried basically. What should she expect? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you can't tell.
we can't answer that question
Yeah.
for anybody. I mean, that's like me going into the shoulder surgery Reddit. What should I expect? I didn't expect this. I didn't expect more complications. I don't even know what to expect. So that's something that nobody really can answer that. But I don't know. She might be just fine because that's one of the few times in a woman's life when the hormones are most stable. As oddly as that sounds, and it isn't until postpartum after the birth that the hormones take the shift. So yeah, who knows? She might be fine.
Got a couple comments here. One says, yes, had epilepsy since I was 12. Didn't know I was pregnant until I was 22 weeks. I'm currently 36 weeks, and it's been surprisingly calm. Just communicate with your doctor and stay on top of things, and you'll be just fine. Another person said, mine was planned, but I've been pregnant twice. It's manageable. That's firm advice, I guess, right? Because epilepsy has given me trust issues. I know you all know what I'm talking about. I have a laundry list of diagnosed disorders, but nothing like epilepsy. I think because it's a brain disorder, let me explain. Most of us, whether we try to let it in or not, our lives revolve around epilepsy. We have to figure out everything we can about our brains, triggers, etc. Then trust issues happen. You recorded for months and notice patterns, and you're like, Eureka. Now I know when that happens, how to prevent it. Just for the pattern change or stopping one kind of seizure just to start another type. I don't even go through this with my anxiety and panic. It took too many years and tons of work, but I know I can change my way of thinking to stop or prevent bad panic attacks. But without a rescue, nothing prevents new seizures. So I'm here. I think zonisamide is working after a little over a month, and I'm taking it. My focals are very weak, and the clusters actually very bearable, day by day and weakening, almost gone. I should be overjoyed, but beyond belief. All I can think of is what's going to go wrong? Is this too good to be true? What new type of seizure am I going to have that's going to ruin my life?
I mean, too good to be true is what they're referring to, like being cured, right? Just no more seizures.
Basically,
That part sounded, yeah, that part sounds too good to be true. But management is a possibility. Even when doctors try to tell you this is as good as it's going to get, you're plateaued, just keep on this treatment plan for the rest of your life. If that's not up to your standard of living, you don't have to settle. But what I meant to ask you guys too, when you were talking about those antidepressants before, is that another kind of medication where they start you on a lower dose and titrate, I think is the word?
I think, yeah, they do titrate it, but I don't know if I did. It was so long ago, I'm not sure. But I know it was a low dose.
Yeah, I was curious about that because it seems like that's how we noticed a lot of the seizure medications, side effects outweighed the benefits. Fycompa is the one that comes to mind because I got off of that one quicker than any other medication. Medical records didn't tell me why, so I literally just had to go back to pictures and show family, hey, do you remember around that time? Like, what's the deal? They're like, oh yeah, that's me, you're crazy. Because you're
Oh,
taking
wow.
that one medication and it was new, and we knew that's why we knew that was what did it. Because you go back and say, I'm still having focals, the tonic-clonics aren't as often, and they say, okay, let's try this new one. Just add another benzo to the two AEDs and see what happens.
So it's like an emergency medicine they added.
Well, the Fycompa, they don't consider it an emergency medication. I think that has to do more with like the half-life. But yeah, it was just another last-ditch effort of something to control the partials. And definitely not the right one.
It says seizure advice. About 5 years ago, I had a cluster of seizures after abruptly quitting an insane amount of benzos for months on end. About 8 years ago, I had one at a festival after being awake for days on coke, MDA, and other stimulants. And I also took over a gram of pregabalin, which definitely contributed to it. Am I now susceptible to seizures due to my past? I have had a daughter, and I am so scared that I'll have another one.
Don't go to festivals and stay up days on end without or with boatloads of stimulants, and you won't be as susceptible. I mean, I don't think that
You gotta
those
run to
things,
the bathroom. But go ahead.
I don't think that those things do like a lasting permanent damage unless you do something like overdose and stop breathing and end up, with hypoxic brain injury or something. Um, I don't know. That's a lot of stuff. Um, uh, I don't know. I personally don't think that they would be any more susceptible than they would have been before that same festival. So, um, do either of you guys have any sort of opinion on the matter? Or any of you? How many people are here still?
Yeah, I
I'm
heard
sorry.
I heard a
Sorry, Nikki,
couple
don't
say
mean to leave
something
you out of it.
on YouTube that like if the average person is exposed to 130 degrees or something like that, and 130-degree environment, that person will have a seizure. So if you create the right conditions, anyone can have a seizure, but some people are more susceptible to having seizures than others.
Yeah.
Is that part of the debate of what differentiates a seizure and epilepsy in some patients?
No,
It seems
Pookie
like some
read a
people
new
take a long
post.
time. Oh, go ahead.
Pookie read a new post, and there was a whole. It sounds like somebody took everything on the menu at some festival and was asking about whether they were prone to seizures forever now, if they've given themselves epilepsy, something like that. Um, I don't know. I told them my theory is that unless there was something significant, some overdose and some sort of hypoxic brain injury, that I don't think that any of the substances they took would leave them any more susceptible to seizures than they were before. It's really just the stimulation uh, during the effects that is really the dangerous part with them. Um, but I don't know. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, thanks for filling me in. So I've always been kind of suspicious how the physicians say that, one time you try something one time and it could actually cause something like this. But when you take everything into account, especially in, an adolescent brain, depending on what part of development somebody might try some of those substances, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if
Um,
seeing what that stuff can
Spending
do to
days
somebody.
awake.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously that would lower your threshold. But once there's that one seizure, I would still stick by that theory of it's not over. It's not going to go away. And if that is what triggered it, then maybe it would have happened, but maybe it wouldn't have. You never might never know besides that one party night or weekend.
I had not considered that this person, yeah. Um, yeah, it could just be one or the other. Could taken too many drugs and have seizure. That's very common. On the
That's
other
always
hand,
that's
yeah,
always sort of like confused me a little bit, I guess. It's like if it happens once because of, you're overdosing or like too many drugs, whatever it is. But then it happens again because of the same reason, you know, like too many drugs or whatever. It's like, at what point does your brain sort of just start degenerating and it like can't recover? And it just becomes like, no, this is a thing for you now,
When it wasn't one of the drugs that they listed off there, wasn't it um pregabalin, I think. I thought I mentioned one
That's a
of them.
recreational one?
Yeah, I thought I remember one of them being a gabapentinoid, and
Oh, I was just about to ask,
it
but
jumping out to
what,
me as not everything was a dopaminergic or monoamine.
Yeah, so a lot of
Um,
these drugs that are used as pain treatments or some kind
yeah,
of
so
nerve
I
pain
mean
or whatever pain.
which
some uppers, some downers,
when taken, yeah,
they
with other drugs, yeah.
I mean, my epilepsy was triggered by a drug, caffeine.
caffeine.
Caffeine. Yes, I was very young when I was 12. Took too much caffeine, had a seizure. So, I mean, this person could be an epileptic. We
Mm,
don't know. I don't know. How old
yes,
is this person?
I don't
I
I
don't
don't
know.
I
They
didn't
remember.
hear
don't
that
mention.
part,
I
but
would
don't you
assume
guys always get told like no caffeine because it'll like keep you short or something?
Yeah,
no, I think that was one particular beverage back in the 90s. I don't think it's sold anymore. Um, and if that was true, I would know it. Um,
well,
that
I,
soda was my favorite.
What
I
what beverage?
Surge,
Oh,
the
I thought y-
green, the
I thought
wasn't
you
it
were
green
gonna
called
say
Jolt?
thing.
I I was thinking
No,
Vault. Do you guys remember Vault?
Vault.
Was that some kind of
There's
soda?
also balls.
Yeah.
I guess all
Oh,
of
it
them were highly caffeinated, and that's kind
and
of the common thread between them. So
and they
maybe,
got
maybe
discontinued. Like
maybe
every one
kids.
of them got discontinued.
No, you can still get balls. You can't find it anywhere in like physical stores, but you can get it on Amazon. They'll ship you.
Yeah,
And I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah. You just have to go
far
through
as
a third
specialty
party and you'll
sodas
get it
go,
no
it's not
problem.
that. I'm sorry, what?
I was jokingly going, yeah, you just have to go through a third party. You can get it no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, well, yeah.
On the black market, you
Hey,
gotta find
I
these
know a
things.
guy, man.
I got a
He
guy.
can get
He
it for
lives
me.
down an alley. He's a great guy. He's got like
Yeah,
8 cases
you'll love
at.
him.
Yeah.
No,
And
but
let
they,
anybody from
as
Europe hear
far
us right
as
now.
like the specialty soft drink beverages go, it's really not that bad. There's a few others that I've tried to seek out that are a lot more expensive. McFuddy's pepper elixir, that's a great one. It's like a spicy Dr. Pepper, like I mean not spicy like burn your mouth, it's spicy like the um
I get it,
I
like
don't know.
ginger beer and stuff like that. Some of the Jamaican
Yeah, but
sodas,
like
like
a really sharp
yeah, they got a good
forward.
flavor to them.
Yeah,
I usually
it's
get it
not.
when I go to the Jamaican place and get chicken or whatever. Yeah, good
I'm a
soda.
very I'm a very simple man. Goya, pineapple soda, done.
Mm, mm, it's
Pineapple
good.
soda. I see
Oh, it's
it
very.
a lot in the store, and I have never even considered trying it.
I
Just
don't know what
the
turned me on to it one
pineapple.
day. Yeah, I never thought about it either. And then one day I just was like, screw it. And then I was like, I'm never going back. This is awesome. I love pineapple soda.
It's excellent.
Yeah,
It really is
it's,
good. Yeah.
Come on, Mark. Everywhere you are in Florida, and then you have like every Goya product on the market, like
I know
next to you.
it's everywhere. It's impossible to
Y
avoid.
nunca lo has probado? Come on.
Like half of the
Oh my
soft
God, I
drink
love that you
aisle
did that
is
in
Goya,
Spanish.
and I mean, it's not that I haven't tried any Goya. It's just the pineapple flavor. It's never crossed my mind. There's so many others, and pineapple is not up there on my list of fruit. But I should give it a shot. I should give
You
it
know
a
that
fair
shit's not
shot.
real pineapple.
Huh?
You know that's not real pineapple. That's just whatever they make it.
Are
And
are you
and
a
Yeah,
Goya
Jarritos
does it.
man?
Es rico. What's that?
it's real pineapple soft drink syrup flavor.
Mark, are
Yes.
you a oh my God. Are you a Jarritos man?
Jaritos. I mean, I can tell that there's some pronunciation going
Las
on.
galletitas.
Uh, I'm not sure. You know, I was born in Miami. I should know
So
the
if you were
like
to
some of
look at
these
it as an American, it would say Jarritos.
Jaritos.
You know that soda?
No, no,
Oh
I'm
my
not
God,
I'm over
what?
here telling you it's some kind of little chip or cookie or something. I didn't know what it was either.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
my God, you
thinking,
guys.
is it like some like the
It's literally like
It's a
one of
milk
the
drink.
from Mexico or
it's like
something?
the best Mexican soda. Pookie, you
Mexican.
got me
Okay,
here.
well, I got the Mexican part right.
Pookie,
Um,
you understand. You know what Jarritos is.
I understand what you mean. Sorry that I went away for
well, I
so
mean,
long, you guys, but I just
you're
found
right
out I
there.
was home alone, so I made food as well.
You're right there in California. Right with the border. You
And
know, I'm closer to Cuba.
I'm up
California
here
goes up a little bit.
I'm up here in freaking New England. Come on, folks.
Well,
Get with the Mexican culture.
yeah. I guess I don't venture out over to like the various ethnic markets part of downtown Orlando. I kind of stay
Or that one
close to
aisle in
whatever's
every
in the.
store.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean there are like
Come on, they got
actual
it right next
full
to the liquor and the seasonings.
that no, I
Oh,
mean
you lucky bastards who can
there's
sell
like
liquor in a grocery
Middle
store. Fuck you.
Eastern
Mm.
like full on
What?
dedicated Middle Eastern stores and stuff. So at least that's what my best friend is Lebanese, and he gets his fancy um za'atar spice over there, and he says it's better than the tea and spice exchange version of it. They don't get it right from the over there. They kind of mix in too many other, yeah. So
Yeah, we do get a lot of direct imports, that's for sure. But that thing about New England, like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, you can't sell liquor up there?
So in Mass, grocery stores are allowed to sell beer and wine. They can't sell like hard liquor. In Rhode Island, where I am, it is completely illegal for grocery stores to sell any form of alcohol. Um, which was funny when I was working at Whole Foods because we would get in all the the new RISD students and the new Brown students and stuff who would come in and they would I was the first department they would see because you walk into the produce department, I was right there. And they would be like, where's the liquor aisle? And I'd be like, it's 3 doors down to the liquor store. And I would always hope that someone would hop in on my 3 doors down reference and be like, damn, that's some kryptonite or something, you know.
Do you have like a state liquor board or something? Because that's what we have in Pennsylvania. We have the Pennsylvania Liquor Board.
I'm
Ooh.
sure there is one in Rhode Island. I don't pay attention to it.
I mean,
Basically every grocery store, you can spot a liquor store from the parking lot. You know what I mean? Like they set it up like that on purpose. You know.
yeah, it's the
At
same
open
here
flea
in
market.
Florida too. I think I remember reading that it's the exception, as far as states go. Most states don't allow liquor in the grocery store there. They have to be in a separate, there's the minority of states that allow selling it in the grocery store itself, but
But they still want $500 for a medical marijuana card.
in
I
Florida,
actually
it's only 75.
In California,
75 for
you
the
don't need a
card?
card, and liquor is in every grocery store.
and I think I sent a link to somebody for there's a company out of California where it's $50 and you can do it like over the phone and you basically just say yes to every question and then they send you a card and it's like $50.
Well, the timing is just not for me right now because the doctor's office that needs to conduct that visit for the paperwork, that's where the big money is at.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even
Okay.
have
Yeah,
health
that
insurance or
that
a
was
doctor when
like
I signed up.
that was like
Oh, they don't take insurance.
150
No.
or like 200 bucks out of pocket or something. But they
Yeah,
accept
that's
credit
what it
cards.
was like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. Now they want like
And
$400
then
and $500 for that shit.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
one
maybe I
visit.
just got
One visit. Here's
a
all the
really
proof.
good, or maybe it's just the renewal or something that,
Yeah, I'm
loyalty.
I'm I'm only looking into initial visits right
I
now.
got, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the
Maybe,
renewals are definitely like half as much.
yeah, but the renewal, I like the renewal because you get the every
I think
single
it's like 3
dispensary
years.
gives you
Oh, okay.
discounts because you had to pay the $75 to the state board. So like True Leave gives you the equivalent,
Oh,
$75 credit for having to pay $75 to the state and then go over to the next dispensary and get like a 50% off store-wide
and then they
sale
want
or something.
$100 for like a fucking eighth.
Milk it. Where are you
Yeah, True Leave.
shopping?
Don't get me started on True Leave. True Leave on the Treasure Coast. Mm, mm-mm.
I don't know. Over here, it's I mean,
No, Kush is gold.
the cheapest ones, the roll one are like I've got $20 eights. And then I mean just normal average I spend like 30 or so, and the premium, the most I've spent on a premium top shelf at True Leaf was like $60. I don't know. I, I didn't know that they changed the prices that much between stores. That's pretty.
No, location is everything. This is a budget I was living on until like November of last year. So yeah, you're
I
definitely
guess
probably on a different strain.
they have to be so competitive here in the Orlando area. They're flooded with competitors just like
Oh yeah.
a mile down the road. I can, that's what I
Oh
was
yeah.
saying.
There's only
Yeah, I
like
can
one private shop in the county.
go like 10 minutes away from each other. There's like four different dispensaries that all have to compete with each other. So that's probably
Oh yeah,
it.
and you can get anything you want at the strip clubs.
When
Hello,
my
Orlando.
when my girlfriend and I went up to Maine, I swear to God, every corner store like that you would think of where you're like, oh, that's just another, like gas station corner store, whatever. No, every single one was a smoke shop, like an actual like dispensary smoke shop. I was
The
amazed. I need
recreational.
for recreational. You don't need a license. You can just walk in and buy it, and it's like every like mile there's another one. I swear to God, it was amazing.
I'm kind of wondering what the quality would be like there.
It was good. I mean,
Are they
I had it.
required
It
to
was good.
are they required to do
Yeah.
like analysis of it, and you get the certificate of analysis with the various terpenes and
I'm sure they
cannabinoids
all
and stuff?
order. I'm sure they were all ordering from the same supplier, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
yes, it was all like medical grade. You know,
Yeah,
Yes,
Boogie, get
Someday.
worded.
I would like home grow. I love my pepper plants. If I had the amount of time for some cannabis plants that I put into my pepper plants, goddamn, I would just the sleep that never ends once I harvest, and then I'd have a problem.
I need like weed grown in the same room as pepper plants so that some of the pepper like oils kind of like spill over and we get spicy weed.
Oh, hybrid creation would be so fun.
got something back
I
to
think I,
back to
I think
seizures.
our, oh, sorry, Pookie.
Since I can't tell if I'm having seizures or not. Little backstory: I had what my friends say was a seizure around 7 months ago, twitching, convulsions, but I could hear what they were saying. I just couldn't respond. My friends didn't take me to the hospital, so I assumed I was fine. But since then, I have been it's been happening pretty frequently. I'm always aware of what's going on with people are saying around me. I just can't respond or control my body. I feel very similar to motion sickness before it happens. I get nauseous and feel weak, and my head hurts. I start to slur my words and have a hard time keeping my eyes open. When I do wake up, I feel really out of it and exhausted, like it's hard to move. Are these actually seizures?
I'm gonna say yes, but that's just me. So I don't know. 1 out of 7 saying yes. What are we at for everyone else?
2.
Um, I'm with it. I say that's a seizure.
Yep.
Because I have
All right.
those same things. I've
3
had
out
the
of
same
7.
ones where I had a seizure in a car, and like I was there and I was not there. I was like I can feel myself gritting my teeth. I could hear everybody talking and panicking, and I could hear that some of them was like, "Does he have his seatbelt on?" And I'm in the passenger seat. Yeah, I can see. I have had one of those where you can see and hear and all that. Just can't react to move your body. Yeah, it sounds like a seizure. Go to the
I
hospital.
guess at this point, it would just be easier to ask, does anyone think it wasn't a seizure? Because if so, it would probably only be like one person or something. No,
I always
all right.
just I just take the skeptical side. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not a seizure. I'm saying no, I think the
I
skeptical
get you.
side is the best side.
You're good. I
So
get you.
so
Yeah.
just check out everything to make sure it wasn't like a panic attack or if you think it was, then I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying
Yeah.
if you think it was, go to a doctor and get checked out. I think that's the best course of action.
That is actually a very good, rational, like way of
Not to
responding.
set up for failure kind of way of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when someone asks you a question, and it's either definitive or I could say maybe we could. One, you're getting told you're a liar. The other, it's like it didn't follow through.
That's another reason I want to be able to see what this RNS is doing, because the first time, whenever that seizure was a couple days ago, for the first time I remembered, I was actually aware, and that's never happened before. Apparently, this was after daughter already sat me down, so I don't remember what room I was in before that, but I remember the whole time that I couldn't speak. I remember clear as day looking in front, seeing for some reason my hands were out and they were trembling. I was able to put my arms down, but then I started looking around for a drink and couldn't speak. And I remember not being able to, lift my arms after I put them down. And that's the first time that's ever happened. Usually I'm gone, and then the next thing I remember, I'm actually back and, fully functioning, speaking, moving, whatever. But yeah, these things are changing. That's why I'm curious to see if this thing was still zapping me when that part was aware. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, first comment says 100% seizure activity. Please go to the doctor. Someone else said, based on as a newbie, what I've read, go see a doctor. Really, and it might be a simple change to straighten things out quickly. Advice on going for a brain tumor surgery. I've never had brain surgery or any head surgery. Okay. It says how to deal with medical gaslighting. I went to a new doctor because I have seizures and HEDs, and I believe that they are affecting each other. And I also have been told to have something else. I just don't remember the name. Is some sort of unspecified brain issue I learned about through an EEG that can cause seizures and a bunch of other things. And I want a doctor. I want a doctor. She said it was probably just an accident with the diagnosis, and said I should go off my seizure medication and not do my medication med I was recently prescribed. Keep in mind, I only met her once. I feel so scared and drained, and I feel like a fool a bit. The question was, how do you deal with medical gaslighting?
They obviously just want to move on to the next case, file this claim, and not worth your time.
Yeah, I think we've had this question kind of before, where not everyone here has had to necessarily deal with it, but we have kind of come to the same consensus of like you need multiple opinions, because if you're just relying on one and they're saying one thing and it doesn't work for you, you have the option. You can get a second opinion. Also, fuck medical professionals who like gaslight their patients. That's, I don't know. It just irked me so much. The
Kepra. I just started Kepra 2 days ago. Half a tab twice a day, 500 milligrams in total. Anyway, I keep seeing people making vague posts about how terrible Kepra is. But when I ask for details, they don't answer. So can someone please explain? Please tell me if I should be worried about this pill. I had to switch from lamotrigine because that was giving me a bad rash.
I'm confused when they say did they say they have to split a tab?
Yeah, half a tab twice a day.
So they split 1,000 milligram tab instead of being just prescribed 500 milligram tabs.
No, I think they're splitting a 500 milligram tab.
Yeah,
Oh.
those pills are all whatever that word is for when it has a line down the middle.
Okay, sorry, was a little confused there. I mean, I guess I can speak to what were they asking about the effects?
What should they expect, basically? Should I be worried?
Well, they're not on a huge dosage, but as we have talked about before, Keppra at the start will make you very mad about literally nothing. You will get so mad that you want to punch a friggin' wall over basically someone just didn't respond to you in time. That's what it kind of feels like, you know. So keep that in mind. It does go away. You just have to let your body adjust. Luckily, you're on a small dosage, so it shouldn't hit you as hard. But you got to keep those things in mind because the people around you in your life are going to notice it and they need to understand where it's coming from. And it's not you, it's the medication. A lot of people who have talked about their experience with Capra, like on this sub that we've talked about, have said that, you know, the people in their life just can't deal with them anymore. But I feel like they weren't aware of what the side effects were going to be going into it. So be communicative, um, and just try your best to understand when it's not you, it's the meds. You've got to rein it in, you know.
I know I missed the like last, I don't know, 45 minutes or however long I was out for. But I just heard Kepra and screwing with people's heads, and yeah, exactly. I was on it when I first started taking. When I first started having my seizures about 20 years ago, and it really messed with my head. And at the time, I was 19. You know, still had ambitions of having a driver's license, you know, finishing up college, you know, all of that stuff. So I was just pushing through it, not acting, you know, not taking it very seriously. And it got to the point where Kepler really screwed me up. So I messed up a couple of friendships, got off of it. And then as I've explained in other chats, I have some liver and pancreas issues, so that kind of limits other seizure medications I can take. So it's come back around where back in 2022, my doctors were like, "We're out of fucking things to give you, so here's Keppra again." So I've been on Keppra, yeah, since then, and once again, yeah, my I live with my parents. They've definitely noticed a difference in me. I've had to switch jobs. I've lost a couple of friendships. Of a very very close. I don't know if you want to call it relationship, but a very close female friend of mine. We no longer speak very often anymore. It's just been a lot of different things ever since I started taking the Keppra again and switching medications. So it's not a fun thing to be on. I'm trying to get off it. I'm trying to switch to something new here within the next couple of months or so. But if you have to take it, it's gonna be something you might have to just deal with and explain to other people that it's that tiny little white pill. It's not you. It's not you that's saying and doing those things.
I think we talked about memories earlier betraying us. We can't remember them. Um, I think I was on Kepra um, for a while, maybe during certain periods, off and on. And I don't know if I pushed people away. I definitely did some weird stuff. I know that for sure. And yeah, I definitely did some really weird things. That's all I'll leave that at that. But I don't know if I pushed people away because of that or if they just left me. That's an awful feeling if not knowing if it was my fault or um if it was me or them.
It
And
exactly
yeah,
yeah, exactly, Kevin. Yeah, one of the relationships I had that ended. Um, I literally, it's embarrassing to say, but I got ghosted. We were we had been dating for several months, gone out, done a bunch of stuff together, um, adult activities together. We were that close. And then we were planning on going out, to dinner one night, and we were texting during the day. And obviously I wasn't driving. She was gonna come pick me up, um, and then just never showed up. And I was like, holy shit, like, oh my god, I really care about you. Like, what happened? Are you okay? Blah blah blah. Never got a reply. That was the last time I talked to her. She just completely ghosted me out of nowhere. And ever since then, I've always just said that, like, half jokingly, of course, but I would rather her have like come up and just like kicked me in the crotch and been like, fuck you, I hate you, than not know what the reason was, right? Like, I just, like, it's just like that empty like feeling of like not knowing that
yeah,
bothers me more than if she had actually just punched me and been like, we're done, peace out.
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
yeah, and that was after, like, that was about, I don't know, toward the end of, I don't know, sometime in 2023. So I'd already been on the Kepra, so I don't know if it was the meds. Sometime, maybe I didn't think it was anything else, because, like I said, we had been dating for several months, done a lot of activities, gone out to a lot of places together. Everything seemed like it was in a good place, and then all of a sudden one day she was just like, I'm done with you. So I don't know what it was, and yeah, still obviously it bothers me, to this day, because I want to know, was it the medication? Was it something I did? Was it that she just couldn't put up with the epilepsy, and she just didn't want to mention it, and she was too embarrassed to say, I don't like you because of your disability? Like, there's just so many questions in my head. And that was kind of the last, like, serious relationship I had, because at that point I had just kind of given up. I just figured, somebody that I had known for this long, knew you know, my condition and everything. She had seen me had a seizure. She still put up with it, still stayed with me. if somebody that knows all of that is just gonna, peace out, just bounce out of my life, out of nowhere, then I, yeah, I just don't really have any real motivation to go hunting for like a serious relationship. Like, obviously, we all want friendship, and that's why we're all here talking to each other right now, right? But yeah, I'm not expecting nothing,
I'm sorry to hear all that.
serious
And
for
it's easier to get clarity, to get some finality on relationships, you know?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. I'd rather just have, yeah, the final, end of it, closure, end of the, last page of the book read and done than somebody just, running off into the distance or something. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
that with, the, like we've all spoken, the not driving, the not exactly having steady jobs, not much income. It just adds, to it, making it to be, difficult to have a relationship with, with a female or, sorry, my
Yeah.
mistake, with a partner, male, female, whatever you're into. I don't want to be disrespectful, but yeah, it just makes it much, much tougher. And so I figure I already have enough other things to worry about: my health, my medication, my other stuff, that having a partner, a relationship is secondary to all that stuff at this point now, especially being plenty of gray hair and not nearly 40. It's not like I'm in my prime anymore either.
Yeah.
So
I got something here. It says Depakote and hair loss. It's been a long 5 years, and I think our daughter's seizures are under control with the help of Depakote. Last EEG came back normal. However, she's been experiencing a lot of hair loss. She's been on the medication since March. EEG late April, and over the last month or so, thinning of the hair. We feel we feel for her. About to go off to college, play basketball, and now this. Don't get us wrong, we're ecstatic for the medication that's working. But damn, like every other parent out there, can we just get a little break? This is just me, father, husband, hoping this will pass, and the vitamins, the vitamins that she will be getting on, or for hair loss. Just seeing if anybody else has experience with other vitamins to counteract the hair loss. Never giving up, never giving up, or preparing for all the ones that are loved ones that are affected by epilepsy. Anybody had any hair loss?
I mean, if I pull my hair back here, you all can tell I got a pretty big forehead. My dad's hairline goes back pretty far. My grandfather's did. My great grandfather, way back. My great great grandfather, I actually do have a picture of him from 1903. He's got like the horseshoe, shaped, like bald, like in the middle. So I always just thought it was like a genetic thing, for me. I mean, honestly, look how far back. I got a pretty damn big ass forehead, right?
Yeah.
I always thought it was a genetic thing. I didn't know it would I didn't think it was related to epilepsy or anything. When I was younger, and actually because I haven't had a driver's license in so long, the DMV has not asked me to renew my picture. So despite having all of this gray hair, I get questioned about my ID sometimes because my ID picture is from 2006. So I have zero facial hair whatsoever, and my hair it's longer than yours, Kevin. In the picture,
Oh
it's like
yeah.
half. Yeah, I swear to you, it's halfway down my back. I gotta grab this shit right now just so you guys. but yeah, hold on one second. I'm not gonna try and dox myself and give away a little
Yeah, I was gonna
too much,
say, be
too much
careful showing
information.
an ID
But
photo.
but there we are. So no glasses, only a tiny little bit of facial hair, no mustache, and my hair you can see is like draping down my
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Yep.
and
With the
so literally
glasses,
this
it
picture,
looks
yeah,
like
this
the
picture's
the
from
the reverse direction that somebody would go to get a fake ID for some booze or something. Like,
exactly. And like even the date on this is still I'm older than 20, it's still it's 19 years old, so I'm still 21 on there. And I'm like, bro, like if you think I got a fake ID, do you really think I would have it be saying that I'm 40 years old or 39 years old? Like no, I'd be having one that would be saying like 22, and I wouldn't have, a foot long of gray hair on my face. Like when people ask me, I'm still just like, what the fuck is your problem, dude?
yeah. Well, at least you don't need to worry about cops pulling you over and looking at that. That I was gonna say that could be a problem if you get pulled over, but then I realized no, that's not an issue with anybody in this group, is it?
Yeah, they don't gotta drive.
So
Hey, I mean,
yeah,
you can still get stopped on a bike. You can still get pulled over on a bike. Like I've said,
yeah.
I worked at bicycle shops for over 20 years, man. I've heard all sorts of crazy, insane, every wild scenario you can hear about, people on bicycles. I've been hit by a car twice. I over those many years of working at bicycle shops, I had three customers get hit and unfortunately pass away.
Oh
And
wow.
one of them was a, a relatively closer friend. Even though despite I knew him through work, we would on weekends still sometimes go bike riding together at like a local mountain bike trail.
How
Uh,
about did you hear about any of your customers having a seizure on their bicycle while riding it on the road?
I actually didn't, which actually sounds kind of crazy considering as long as I had worked at a bicycle shop. I did know a couple of people that um, their main mode of transportation was their bicycle, just like me, because they couldn't drive because of epilepsy. But
Mhm.
none of them had ever told me that they had a seizure while riding their bicycle. Um,
Yeah.
Thankfully, and that's kind of one of my main biggest like fears is obviously I'm on
I
my
mean,
bike, I have my own lane, but if I have a seizure and then all of a sudden my body jerks and I go over to one side, then all of a
yeah,
sudden I'm in the middle of a road and here comes like a bus and just runs
because
right over
yeah,
me or
it'd
something.
be the same likelihood that you would have a seizure on your bicycle, basically, as you
It,
would on behind the wheel. You're just a lot less
it,
dangerous to other people. But
exactly, and yeah, I think I said that before on another day where we had a chat. Whereas if I have a seizure on my bicycle, it's it's
yeah.
me that's getting injured
I
or
guess me getting
taking
run
that. But
over could
if
cause
I'm
a
doing it
chain
in a,
reaction of other people like slamming the brakes and
I mean,
go a whole mess. But that's kind of getting into the realm
that's true.
of
Somebody in a car could like try and
fiction.
swerve out of the way and hit another car or something. But if it
Yeah.
was me driving and I had the seizure and I was on the freeway doing 70 miles an hour or something, then you're crashing into a bunch of cars. You're taking out like a family in a minivan or like
I'm
if I
pretty
crashed on
sure
my
that
bike.
it's illegal to ride a bicycle on any freeway with a speed limit of 70. At least
Oh
I
no no
would
no
hope.
no no! I'm not saying me riding the bicycle. I'm saying if I were driving in a car, doing the speed limit at 70 miles an hour, and then say I were
Right,
to
but
swerve over and hit a van or
that
something.
person. Oh,
Yeah, but if I'm on the
no
bicycle,
bicycles? Oh, well, right. Okay.
yeah, that's what I meant. My bad. If I'm on a bicycle, I have a seizure, I crash. It's me that's getting hurt. It's just me. Most likely, most likely.
Right.
But if
Well,
I
I
have a
was thinking
seizure,
if you were in a car on a road versus you were riding a bicycle on the same road, You're just as likely to have a seizure operating those two vehicles on that road at that same time.
Exactly. But
The
me
only
riding,
difference.
me riding my, my 40-pound electric bike, that's going to do a lot less damage to another human being versus if I were driving, my 5,000-pound Cybertruck.
Right.
I'm using that as an example because I live here in Fremont right next to Tesla. But you know what I mean, there's differences in vehicle weights and all that. But yeah.
So this girl with the hair loss, what you were talking about with I also have very good genes with hair, but I also take Depakote. And I'm the same age as you. I think I got the receding hairline, but I've heard many stories about people losing their hair, and it's very unfortunate. And I don't know. I think it's just hit or miss with the hair loss. For some reason, I've been very lucky. I've been taking Depakote very long, and uh, I I just haven't had it myself. And yeah, I don't know why. I haven't had the hair loss, and this is it's just unfortunate. But I take vitamin D supplements. Um, Maybe there's some other things for this person, this young person. Uh, I was prescribed vitamin D. Uh, I would definitely look into diet or uh, yeah. So definitely look into supplements and stuff for sure.
Have doctors
Ask
ever
your
told
doc
you that like a dermatological treatment is not allowed?
a dermatological. Well,
Yeah, I guess they have something called PRP, platelet rich plasma. Not sure how it's done, but it sounds like it's an in-office thing performed by a dermatologist to help stimulate hair growth.
well,
Would that kind of thing
I
be?
I don't need hair growth. I actually have Peter Gallagher eyebrows, if you can see that, so I'm fine with hair, but hopefully other people. I think I might have. Yeah, I'm fine with that as far as it goes, but I would definitely suggest to someone else to uh, 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 to look into supplements and anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a long list of AEDs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Besides the
I
Depakote, Lamictal, Tegretol, Gabapentin, Levetiracetam, Topiramate, all of them.
I think I have the most receded hairline among the gentlemen of podcast. But
I
the
got the
blonde
web white
hair
shoe.
helps to hide it. Blonde hair on white skin when it's shaved down to 1/8 of an inch kind of all fades into each other. So that's another advantage of this haircut. I think I might keep it. The plan was to just buzz it all off, but I've been getting so many compliments, I feel popular.
Very good.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.